there's this one type of judgment which comes up, which I don't see people talking about very much. And I want to share a little bit about it because I think it's important because it kind of remains hidden. So normally when we think of judgment, we can recognize it quite clearly. You know, if that critical inner voice comes up or I feel judgmental towards somebody else, it's normally got quite a lot of intensity to it. And so we can see it. And of course, the things that you probably know about awareness and all that sort of thing can help us manage that. This other type remains hidden because it's triggered much more subtly. Now, I'm going to give you a quick example from my own experience, and hopefully that will give you a sense of it. But it could equally apply to the work situation, family, whatever. I was at a festival, just a small outdoor festival, and I was sitting and the performers came up, and it was a one person with a singer, and he had a guitar and a loop machine and this sort of stuff, and he really seemed like he was just kind of jamming along. And I watched myself starting to get irritated and judgmental, thinking, you know, this person could have made an effort at least. Surely they could have, you know, they could treat us with respect and all this sort of thing. And I watched myself do this. And I watched my mood change. I watched how my whole attitude towards my day out changed. Now, I'm reporting it as if it was really obvious. I'm saying I watched it. I kind of did have half a mind, but I was really surprised. It wasn't that strong. It was just this subtle kind of switching off and turning off and negativity towards what was going on. And it was a beautiful sunny day. And I was sitting outside and there were all sorts of things to pay attention to. And he wasn't that bad. You know, he was an okay musician. So it's a silly example in a way, but you can see how quickly it shifted my attitude and really changed my appreciation of the day from one where it was kind of open and light to something much more closed and not dark exactly, but heavier. Now, if you can think about it, what happens to how I think about myself when I take on those sorts of attitudes? I shift. And perhaps if somebody had come towards me in that moment to engage, the person they would have met would have been a person filled with this kind of judgment. So what can we do about this? The main thing is actually to just gently, easily sort of start to notice when it's happening, start to track that kind of shift, start to notice when the attitude changes, when maybe we start to fade out of a situation because that judgment has come in. We're no longer so present in the conversation with that co-worker, that boss, that family member. When we have taken a position of elevation in respect to somebody else, or the opposite, when we've taken a lower position in terms of our status. Both of those, all of those are signs that we've actually started this judgment process. It is the awareness, as ever, that we are triggered in some way, even in this very subtle way that starts to free us. And in fact, we don't really need to do a huge amount about it, particularly with these more subtle triggers. We just need to notice them, and that sort of seems to free us up to actually let go of the judgment, let go of the attitudes and the ideas that have started to percolate through our mind without our really realizing. So this is the hidden judgment that I wanted to share a little bit about with you today. The example I've given is a personal one, but there are many, many places where that look from somebody across a meeting or the bit of feedback which doesn't work can actually start one of these processes, these subtle ones, which change our attitude and make our day a little bit worse. And if there are a few of them, if there are several of them, can really turn an okay day into a pretty bad one.